Before I start, I may not be able to convey information properly because I do not speak much English. Hello. This video asked which NA user could make a sharpshooter skill build video, and I thought it was a good idea, so I made a sharpshooter skill build video. Before looking at the raid skill build first, sharpshooter uses 2 job engravings, Loyal, Companion, and Death Strike. Since I mainly use Death Strike engraving, I will give you the skill tree based on Death Strike. The Death Strike method is to fill the identity gauge first, then use the Amplified Damage Synergistic skill, then summon Silverhawk and explode Silverhawk. Then attack the monster using the main skills for 8 to 7 seconds. DATH Strike is an imprint that repeats the process before. So, after using the Amplified Damage Synergistic skill, explode the Silverhawk, and then roll the skill cycle in the order Snipe, Sharpshooter, Arrow, Wave, Charged Shot. Ta-da! Atomic is a skill that explodes after 2 seconds on hit. Atomic is a skill used because of the synergy of amplified damage. DATH Strike engraving standard Atomic is easy to turn the skill cycle, so you can use Atomic. But if you do not like Atomic, you can use a Rapid. Depending on how many skill points you have, choose between level 4 and level 10 and use it. I think you should use the Bleed rune. If you want to level up your tripods after reaching level 10, we recommend that you first do the main skills tripods upgrade and the Silver Master tripod upgrade, and then go up the tripod level later. It is a skill in which the character spins and fires a dagger. This is an important identity gauge supply skill for sharpshooters. Ability Dance is recommended if you use a certain amount of swiftness or if you can use your skills to hit monsters all the way. If not, I recommend Shadow Dance, because Shadow Dance fills the identity gauge even if you don't hit the monster. For runes, we recommend using Wealth Rune if you are using Shadow Dance, and Wealth Rune or Galewind Rune if you are using Blade Dance. The Galewind Rune can be used if the identity gauge is well charged. It is not recommended if the identity gauge is not well filled. For Blade Storm Tripod Upgrade, we recommend that you do Silver Master Tripod Upgrade first. It is a movement skill with a slight front and rear delay. Use either excellent mobility or quick prep depending on your preference. You can also increase the moving slash to level 7 and use the Silver Master to fill in the insufficient identity gauge. Use one of 2 runes, the Rage Rune or the Galewind Rune. It's not bad to use the Wealth Rune when using the Silver Master tripod. If you're going to do tripod upgrade, I recommend that you level up 1 tripod that you use out of 2, excellent mobility and quick prep. If you use the Silver Master tripod, you can try the tripod upgrade. It is an identity gauge supply and demand skill and counter skill that cuts enemies with a dagger. After using Blade Storm, and then use it to fill in the lack of identity gauge or when you need to hit the counter, I think you should use the Wealth Rune. Deadly Slash Tripod Upgrade is Silver Master only, and the rest do not have to do it. It's a skill that fires a whirlwind arrow forward and one of its main skills. At first, there is a slight delay and there is no super armor, paralysis immunity. So be careful because if you get hit by the boss while casting the skill, it will be cancelled. If the crit is not high, Enhanced Arrow will deal more stable damage than Hellfire. So, if the crit is not high, it is recommended to use the Enhanced Arrow. If the crit is high, Hellfire is better than I thought, so it is not bad to use it. I think you should use the Galewind Rune. For Arrow Wave, upgrade all 3 tripods. This is one of the main skills. This skill also has a slight delay at the beginning and has no super armor. paralysis immunity, so use it with caution. Stagger damage is high, so it should be used first when performing stagger gimmicks. For the rune, if the stagger gimmick is important, use Overwhelm Rune. And if the stagger gimmick is not important, use Focus Rune. For SharpShooter, upgrade all 3 tripods. It is one of the main skills and the only weak point skill when using fast fire. Charging does not increase the charged shot damage, but increases the firing distance, so you don't have to charge it to the end. For runes, you can usually use Focus Rune, and for raids where stagger gimmicks are important, use Overwhelm Rune. For charged shot, upgrade all 3 tripods. It is the strongest skill and holding skill among the main skills. It's the coolest main skill that I don't have much to say about. I think you should use the Galewind Rune. For Snipe, upgrade all 3 tripods. There are 2 awakening skills, Fenrir's Messenger and GoldenEye. First of all, Fenrir's Messenger is a charge skill, and if the boss monster is huge, it can do huge damage. But if the boss monster is small, it does bad damage. So if the size of the boss monster is huge, you can use it, but if the size of the boss monster is small, we recommend not to use it. GoldenEye is a skill that attacks monsters while creating a tornado centered on the character. Unlike Fenrir's Messenger, GoldenEye is mainly used because it is an awakening skill that can reliably inflict damage regardless of the boss size. This time, I will tell you about Chaos Dungeon skill build. You only need to change 1 or 2 skills in Raid skill build. The Chaos Dungeon skill build I'm going to tell you now uses the skills you like based on my standards. So you can refer to the skill build I'm giving you and use the skill you want to use according to your taste. Ta-da! If monsters don't die easily, when using Blade Storm in Chaos Dungeon, you can use range hit instead of Silver Master. The reason I use Silver Master is to fill the identity gauge frequently and use these skills and X skills frequently. I think you can use Galewind Rune or Wealth Rune for runes. In Chaos Dungeon, it is simply an identity gauge supply and demand skill. I think you should use the Wealth Rune. It is a movement skill, but in Chaos Dungeon, it is a skill used to supply a slightly insufficient identity gauge. Use one of 2 runes, the Rage Rune or the Wealth Rune. I use Hellfire, but you can use Enhanced Arrow if you like. If you haven't done the Slow Tide Tripod upgrade, it will be easier to proceed with Chaos Dungeon if you use Giant Whirlwind. I think you should use the Galewind Rune. If you use Fast Fire, it is easy to catch monsters because the explosion range is fine. I think you should use the Focus Rune. You won't use it much in Chaos Dungeon. It is recommended to use Snipe only when defeating boss monsters and named monsters. I think you should use the Galewind Rune. It is recommended that you select and use a tripod according to your taste. I think you should use the Rage Rune. You can use Mounting Flames instead of Thunderbolt. Use one of 2 runes, the Rage Rune or the Quick Recharge Rune. You can use any awakening skill. Choose one of the awakening skills you want to use and use it. I use it like this, but you can use other skills like Electric Nova other than Moving Slash or Deadly Slash. It's good to change the Chaos Dungeon skill build according to your taste. So the Chaos Dungeon skill build I told you about is just a reference? For now, I use the Raid and Chaos Dungeon skill builds like this, but this may change after a patch. Thank you for watching the video.